It is 8 o'clock on the East Coast. It is 5 o'clock on the West Coast. It is the 15th of February in the year of our Lord 2024, season 14, episode 18. 653 times you have been welcome to the Clubhouse Podcast, your one-stop shop for all things sports, entertainment, pop culture, and professional wrestling. Welcome. We're so glad that you're here. We are back skating at full strength again, so I'm happy about this. My name is Rob. I'm the executive producer of the Clubhouse Podcast, and we got a lot to talk about. We don't got a lot to talk about. It's a weird time of year for this show in general. That way for me, because I'm having to do it the right way because I can read things correctly on my shirt. He is my co-host and a man who is a huge help when it comes to 20 pounds of smoked chicken wings. He is Alex.
I knew you were going to do that.
By the way, I finished them today. Today.
Good. Yeah, no, I know what our next anticipation for when I am useful on this show is, so I have my Wrigleyville shirt on. I am waiting for some baseball headlines.
Pitchers and catchers have
the one we got today.
You got that. At the bottom of your screen is the official fact checker of Sooner Gator Productions, and a man that we're so excited we're back skating at full strength. He's going to be gone for the next 2 weeks. You may know him as Ig Bunu, but his mama named him Don Ford. I'm going to call him Don Ford. Don, why isn't your name on the screen?
He changed it.
It says Ig Bunu.
That's not your name, dude.
I don't know. This is too technical for me. Don, I'll just write.
Where's my button?
You can do this.
Let's try that again. Yeah, that's perfect. Well done. This is my life. All right, gentlemen, let's dive right in. Big headline from ESPN this past weekend. Nick Saban has officially joined ESPN College Game Day.
There aren't many better people that you can get on that show, but at the same time, I still wanted the football rescue of Belichick and Saban just recovering or fixing bad programs.
That should be your Hard Knocks. They go to whoever the team is.
No. That's the one you do in before Hard Knocks, before the NFL starts ramping up. They go to spring practices.
Oh, no. I want them at the combine.
Yes, that. Wait.
NFL Network.
We can do both. Get Rich Eisen on it.
Hear us. Bring those boys to the combine.
So do you think he'll miss coaching? Because I mean, he's been through what?
Not
LSU.
if he's on game day. If he's on game day, he's going to have plenty of opportunity.
I think there'll be a level of coaching that he will miss just from a control aspect, because we've all felt like experts in certain things and watched somebody else do something and just be like, why? Just why?
Yeah. I mean, that bug is always going to be in those people.
Mm-hmm. There's a competitiveness.
No offense, pro wrestlers and stuff like that. They just cannot get it out of their system. And I mean, it's a great opportunity. Don't get me wrong. I don't know where he's going to make more money with game day or being the coach, because he made millions on each.
It's funny that you put it that way, Don, because I have a sneaky suspicion what the intent for Saban is. Because there's always somebody known as coach on that panel. And unfortunately, time is undefeated. So I'm looking forward to Nick Saban putting on headgear. Just saying.
Boys, in case you haven't done the math, we are 5 months away from the Summer Olympics.
And Perry,
have you seen the big headline coming out of the preparations for the Summer
I have not.
In the City of Lights? So you know how every Olympics, probably since the 70s, because I think before that it was all kind of the same, the host city has had their own spin on the medals. It might have been the 80s. What Paris is doing with every medal for every event,
come on,
each medal will have a what's going on?
Oh, I know what I want it to be, but I don't know what the answer is.
Every medal in every sport, for every athlete that receives them, the medal is going to have a piece of the Eiffel Tower in it.
That is awesome.
How cool is that, huh?
Okay, for the record, infinitely better than what I said, but I was saying I want them to hand them the medal on a baguette.
Ooh, baguettes. But only if Peyton Manning's giving it to him.
Yeah, because they have to replace parts of the tower that over the years and replay, and they could take
And so they're using those in the medals.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
It might be one little piece in there.
Oh, Russ is here.
Love it. Wee. Original Russ.
You know what?
Love
Bonus
it,
points to Russ for spelling it correctly too.
Yes.
Wee.
So there's been polarizing opinions on this. I think it's awesome.
Wait, how
So
can
do I.
anybody have a bad opinion of this? Please enlighten me.
It might just be a tad little piece about the size of a pin needle or something like that, but
it's
but
the size of the medals themselves are about a sand dollar. They're beastly. I've seen them.
They're traditional size.
But I think the center of it is the piece.
But
it's a different
please enlighten me. How could anybody take issue with this?
I have just heard of people that are saying that it's a little too much. We don't need. I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with it. Let's have some fun with this. That's all I'm saying. And I enjoy the Summer Olympics. I'm not hold on.
Sir.
Let's just get to this right now. Breaking news.
I was doing the same thing.
Caitlin Clark has now set the women's Division I scoring record. Did you hear her quote about that earlier today?
If I may, isn't this in the overall scoring record for NCAA?
What it just said was women's was the alert that I got, but it could be. I know that she's up there.
I'll take a Don. Do you want to take a look at it, or should I?
What's that?
I'll take a look.
I would say you look it up. She said earlier today, because she was only 6 points away going in, that she did. She was hoping they didn't stop the game. I'm like, you know what? I respect that. Do it at halftime.
Here's the funny thing. I saw it just as going by. I believe it was the first 6 points of the game for Iowa.
It wouldn't surprise me. And this has been breaking news.
That was a seamless banner on that one. That was great.
All right, let's get into last weekend. But before we do, we want to send our deepest and thoughts and all of the things to the people that dealt with what happened in Kansas City yesterday. It hurts our hearts as to what happened. To the families, our best to y'all. Seriously. Alex and I were talking in pre-show before Don logged in, and my heart just sunk into my stomach. So let's all band together and send our love up to those people in Kansas City. Speaking of which, this past Sunday was Super Bowl 58. That's what I'm going with. I was this close, boys.
The going back to the Olympic medals, they're going to each one's going to have 18 grams of Eiffel Tower in it.
That's a lot.
And yeah, and the gold medal is going to weigh 529 grams, the silver 525, and the bronze 455. But it's going to be centered in there. But it'll be 9.2 millimeters thick, 85 millimeters in diameter, and but 18 grams of the Eiffel Tower in there. And they got little pictures of it too. It looks kind of cool. So
I have seen them as previously stated.
Yeah, that's cool.
Alex, go ahead.
Pete Maravich is still the all-time leading scorer for men's and women's college basketball at 3,667. But Caitlin Clark could get past him this season. There's an outside chance.
She is amazing.
Yeah, because to pass, she is now over 3,527, which was Kelsey Plum's record. So that would put her at just 110 short, or check my math.
You could definitely get that this season because it's only February.
Exactly.
All right. As I was saying earlier, boys, I was this close. It's this close. If you go back to August, I had one team get all the way to the Superb Owl. And then overtime. Just, man. What a game. One of the best games I've watched.
Are you buying into the conspiracy theory that has been popping up everywhere, though, about the first down rush, quote unquote? You know what I'm talking about?
They played a game. I refuse to believe that they didn't know the rules of overtime.
No, that's not the part I'm talking about. Have you seen the one that popped up about the 3-yard rush by Mahomes on first down? They had it as second down, it goes away, and then it was 1st and 10.
That's just somebody in the booth not paying attention.
Well, that's what I'm saying is I have not done the fact checking on this, but there's a genuine part of me that wonders if there was a penalty we didn't know about or anything else.
But I thought it was a great game. It was a lot of fun to watch.
Very competitive.
We were 3 seconds away. 3 seconds from that time running out. And Russ did have his number 12 jersey when it happened. He was wearing that has his name on it, number 12, to get the winning touchdown. So we did see that.
Yeah, one thing about football, though, this is the 25th anniversary of something very important to airing of football games. And that is 25 years ago is when they added the first down marker on the field.
Oh, the yellow line?
Yeah, the yellow line.
Oh, fair
that
enough.
Finally happened 25 years ago is when it first started. Now, imagine trying to watch the game without those lines now.
God,
people will be going nuts. And
well,
yeah.
Let me ask you this as a Steeler fan.
Yeah.
Ooh.
How do you feel about the Kansas City Chiefs having as many rings as the Pittsburgh Steelers now?
What do you mean? They don't have 6.
Yeah, they do. They do.
They don't have 6.
That's what they said in the pre-show is if Kansas City won, they were going to tie Pittsburgh.
No, that was San Francisco.
Yeah, I think this is either 4 or 5 for Kansas City.
Well, how are you going to feel next year when they tie Pittsburgh?
That would happen right now. That would absolutely happen right now.
Please place your phones on vibrate before going live on the internet.
It's my work phone. Sorry. Let me look that up, though. I'm going to do double check. We have to be back here. KC. Jeez. Actually, my Steelers are going to make 7 next year.
But who's the quarterback going to be, Don?
Because when it comes to August,
never mind.
you're not going to win a game all year. So I don't want to hear this in August of you complaining after you just now said they're going to win the Super Bowl next year.
I forgot. I thought they were going to get rid of Tomlin, and then we had a chance. Not anymore.
Never.
But Don, I reiterate my question: who's your starting quarterback next year? Based on some rumors.
Yeah, Biscuit time, baby.
Biscuit's already cut.
You know, but they'll resign.
But at the same time,
they have 4
rumors about who's the likely starting or one of the likely starting quarterbacks for Pittsburgh next year.
Yeah, these Kansas City Chiefs won Super Bowl 4 in '69, and then 3 of the last 4.
All right, well they're almost to you then.
So they have 4.
They're going to catch y'all because I don't see that going anywhere anytime soon. I swear they said that in the pregame. It must have been San Francisco.
San Fran has 5. Yeah. Just like Dallas.
We still don't know. I can't believe I screwed that up. We still don't know if anyone's won the DoorDash thing.
Or if it's real. At this point, I'm waiting just to hear that it's real.
Here's my other thought process. Did they say one person was going to win all that? Or are multiple people going to get, each person's going to get one item?
They said you get everything from the ads. That a person gets everything from the ads.
Because I haven't seen a winner yet.
That's why I'm saying I still need to see that it's real.
Just saying. But I thought those commercials were fair to Midland. There wasn't a lot that
were bad.
I don't like this whole go watch this trailer online. Show the trailer in the thing.
Cost too much.
If you do a 2-minute trailer, it's going to cost them $28 million versus the 30-second one of $7 million.
That's good math.
Yeah.
It's not my money. Spend your money.
I'm just still waiting for my answer from Don on the Steelers quarterback, but fine.
I have no idea who's going to be. I don't know.
Well, no. Have you seen the rumors of late?
What's that?
That the Steelers might be trading for a quarterback.
Who, Tomlin?
What?
Yeah,
Why
Trey
are you
Tomlin.
obsessed with the black coach? It's so weird.
Whoa, that just took a turn.
No, I'm still
Yeah.
saying it because he keeps bringing it up. But the current rumor is that Justin Fields may be on his way from Chicago to Pittsburgh.
Now, do you think that would be a good trade? Would it help out
Depends
the
on the
Steelers?
compensation. You can't judge a trade based on one side because, oh, I'm trading for Willie Mays. Yeah, he's one of the greatest players ever. Oh, you gave up 73 first-round picks? No.
We won't have a first round pick until 2450. But no, I think Justin Fields is serviceable. I like
know
the
what?
kid.
But here's the other thing. You hired arguably the worst offensive coordinator option available who loves to run the ball, and you trade for a very good running quarterback. That makes sense to me.
We're about what? 10 weeks away from the draft.
Oh, I love the draft. Get me to the combine. I love watching combine footage.
The Ursher was the halftime show. Very enjoyable.
I thought it was fantastic.
Over a number of songs.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, the Bieber was reached out to for an appearance and declined it, although he was allegedly there.
He was. They showed him in the box.
I thought it was a fun show. Apparently, that's help. I'm sure that he doesn't need the help for his residency, but I'm sure there was a little bump into the business there for that. In the final analysis of the entire Super Bowl Sunday experience, I thought it was a good day. Had a great time. And now we wait until August. Yay.
That's
so we
right.
got
we'll get into some baseball.
We got
according to one of the major news networks, DoorDash did draw a winner on Monday for that contest.
See, I did a Google search yesterday and there was nothing out there. Interesting.
It says DoorDash awarded one lucky contest winner the items that were advertised. Yes, all of them on Monday. The food service drew the winner from all the ad Super Bowl sweepstakes. The contest in which millions said to get blah blah blah. Yeah, but they said they drew somebody.
Mike just checked in, and I agree. Let's go UFL weekend before Easter weekend. Let's go UFL. I'm here for it.
Yeah, I'm waiting for DoorDash to announce the winner being like Hingle McCringleberry or something like that, where it turns out Keegan-Michael Key comes out as the new spokesperson.
That promo wrong on so many levels. By the way, I am fully not prepared like I normally am. I'm a little off my game this week.
That's all right.
Because we need to get to NBA standings because it is All-Star Weekend, you guys.
Still garbage.
Okay, I was going to ask. Yep. Still garbage.
But you had there. You were very interested in the item I told you about the other day.
Yes, I was. Feel free.
So Saturday night is the skills competition for the NBA for their All-Star Weekend. Don, did you read about this? 3-point competitions and all the skills competitions. They will not be playing. They will not be playing on a traditional court. The entire court is going to be an LED screen for the skills competition. So you're going to have all kinds of cool graphics and stuff on the floor. I am intrigued by this.
I'm still concerned from a safety standpoint, but I'm sure they figured out a way to make it make more sense.
But that's just during the competitions. It's not during the game.
Not during the All-Star game, no. Just for the skills competitions. Okay. Or what they call it All-Star Saturday night, which, by the way, will affect something else we're going to talk about a little bit later. But let's get into your standings in the Eastern Conference Atlantic Division, because the Atlantic Ocean is in the East in America. The Toronto Raptors killing the game at 24 back right now. They're 2.5 back on Brooklyn. Brooklyn, who is 11 back on Philadelphia. The Sixers are now a half game back in New York, but Boston's 10 games up on the Knicks right now. In the Central Division, the Detroit Pistons, former champs of basketball. Anybody want to guess how many wins they got right now?
3.
8.
I really don't know. I know what.
Don is correct. They are 8-46. Right?
I don't feel like I've seen a crawl go by that said Detroit Pistons win yet this year. So
they are 28.5 games out of first place right now.
God.
They could triple their wins and still be a game and a half out. They are 17.5 back on the Bulls. The Bulls are now 5.5 back on the Pacers. The Pacers 4.5 back on Milwaukee, and the Bucks are 2 back on Cleveland. Oh, Russ says he watched the Nickelodeon version of the Superb Owl. You gotta love it when SpongeBob and Patrick are on commentary.
Oh, apparently they were talking smack on players too.
Nice.
Tom Kenny might have been hitting a little bit of sauce.
In the Southeast Division, the Washington Wizards are 20.5 back. They're 4 games back on Charlotte. Charlotte is 10.5 back on Atlanta. Orlando and Miami now tied for first place, 6 games up on Atlanta. In the Western Division, Western Conference Pacific Division, because the Pacific is in the western part of America, the Golden State Warriors. Can we stop? ESPN was killing me today with this whole, could LeBron go to the Warriors? Stop it. Just stop it. That's all I'm saying. Stop it.
See, I hate those kind of conjectures because the answer is always yes. And also, to borrow a phrase from Sean's favorite movie in the 90s, monkeys could also fly out of my butt. It's not impossible. It's just highly improbable.
Golden State now 9.5 back. They're 2 games back on the Lakers.
How many teams has he played with? There's nothing's impossible.
He's played with 3.
Miami, Cleveland, LA.
And LA.
Yeah.
He's
so
not
him going to another team's not.
That contract's not going anywhere.
Okay.
It's unlikely to go anywhere.
Lakers 2 back on Sacramento. Sacramento a game and a half back on Phoenix, and Phoenix 4 back on the Clippers. In the Southwest Division, because that's West and South, the Spurs are 22 games back right now. Unreal. They still got more wins than Detroit does. They are 8 games back of Memphis. Memphis is 6.5 back on Houston. Houston 6.5 back on Dallas. Dallas now a game behind Fly Pelican. They're first place in the division. How about that? And in the Northwest Division, the Portland Trailblazers are 22.5 back. They're 10 back on Utah. Utah 10 back on Denver. Denver's a game and a half back on Oklahoma City, who is a game back on the Timberwolves. Let's get into the NHL, shall we, gentlemen? In the Eastern Division, Eastern Conference Atlantic Division, the Ottawa Senators. They currently have 46 points. They are 28 points back of first place in the division at the midway point. They are 4 points back on the Sabres. The Sabres are 2 back on the Montreal Canadiens. Thank you, gentlemen. Montreal is 8 back on Detroit. Detroit 2 back on Toronto. Toronto's a point back on the Lightning. The Lightning now 9 back on the Panthers. The Panthers now 2 back on Boston. By the way, they've lost 2 in a row. Ottawa's won 4 in a row, but it's not helping them. Where else are we going, Don?
Metropolitan Division.
Thank you very much. The Columbus Blue Jackets. They're only 29. Oh, careful, Don. 29 points out of first place. They're 11 back on your Pittsburgh Penguins, Don. Pens are a point back on the Washington Capitals. Washington 3 back on the Islanders. Islanders are a point back on New Jersey. New Jersey now 6 back on Philly. Philly's only a point behind Carolina, but Carolina's 6 back on the Rangers in the Western Conference. Let's go to the Central Division that has no Eastern or Western. The Chicago Blackhawks, they're still terrible. They have 31 points right now. They're 41 points out of first place. Hi, Marcus. They are 19 points back on the Coyotes right now. Arizona 5 back on Minnesota. Minnesota's a point back on Nashville. Nashville's 2 back on St. Louis. The Blues are 11 back on Winnipeg. Winnipeg's a point behind Colorado. Dallas now with a 2-point lead in the division. They have won 2 in a row. And in the Pacific Division, y'all know where we're going. The San Jose Sharks are 5 points behind Anaheim. Anaheim is 16 back on Seattle. Seattle's a point back on Calgary. The Flames are 3 back on the Kings. The Kings are 5 back on Edmonton. Edmonton is 5 back on Vegas. Vegas now 10 points behind Vancouver. Vancouver's got 78 points right now, boys.
Is this the best Canuck team, or is the Messier one? I don't know.
I believe they were playing Dallas the night I proposed to my wife in the year of our Lord 2001. So
Were they wearing their victory sweaters?
I've slept since then.
All right, boys. Remember the
this-
Canucks victory sweaters that are widely considered the worst ones ever?
No, they were wearing the basic ones.
Okay.
It wouldn't get stood out. All right, boys. It is time for North America's favorite game show. What is the goal differential for the San Jose Sharks? Alex.
I want to say the last time I was on, it was like 75, but that was 2 weeks ago. So I'm going to go. Let's go 89.
Don.
Century.
You're saying 100?
Yep.
Russ, I just want to point this out. Russ says that sounds like the Pistons need new shocks. There you go. Okay. Russ says 95.
We love you,
The
Russ.
San Jose Sharks have played 52 games this season. They are 14, 33, and 5.
They've actually played a lot less games than I thought they had.
They have 33 points. They are 53 or 43 points back of first place currently.
God.
They are 9-13 and 2 at home. They are 5-20 and 3 on the road. They are 4-4 and 2 in their last 10, losing their last 2. Let me preface this by saying the San Jose Sharks have given up 200 goals this season.
Am I supposed to be playing goaltender for them and I forgot? What's going on?
Closest to them, surprisingly, let me just make sure. The closest to them right now would be Columbus at 194 games given up.
Games given up?
No, goals, I'm sorry.
Okay.
The San Jose
That's
Sharks have a goal differential of minus 93 at this point.
It's
Don
still
went over,
terrible.
Russ went over, Alex is closest without going over.
It's still terrible.
Oh, no, it's still terrible. Don't get me wrong. Do not get me wrong.
And San Jose is one of those teams I always find myself at least just a little bit rooting for. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of the Shark Tank or something along those lines.
I like the logo with the fighting through the hockey stick. I just like that.
Absolutely. It is classic. But it's also one of those where high draft picks hit at an insanely high rate in the NHL. I don't know if it's their system or scouting or whatever it is, but I feel like Chicago is trying to fail and San Jose is just failing.
By the way, this Sunday is Daytona. So there's that. All right, let's get into some TV talk. This is the time of year where we're going to start learning about renewals.
Excuse me, do we have a baseball headline real quick?
I do not.
Okay. Within the last few hours, Commissioner of Major League Baseball, Rob Manfred, has said that he will be retiring very soon, or at the end of his next contract.
Well, his band's getting
which I believe he said was 2025.
His band's going to be touring again. Manfred Mann and the Earth Band?
Oh, no, he's through 2029, but he says that he's retiring then.
Blinded by the light.
Wait, hold on. Stop everything. I named Manfred Mann and the Earth Band, and Don knew the song. Even though Springsteen's version is the more popular, Don knew Blinded by the Light. Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
It happened. What's that word? Shot up like a blind by
Like
light.
a
Shot up
deuce.
like a
Deuce. Like a deuce.
Okay.
In the middle of the night. Although many people have said it as a different word, it is not. It is deuce because it is referring to a car.
I'm one of those people.
I know. Let's get into TV talk, shall we? Because we do actually have a little bit of music talk this week, gentlemen. So get ready.
Nice.
ABC, of course, has renewed Abbott Elementary for season 4. It's one of the things that's really working. Russ has the quote, wrapped up like a deuce, another runner in the night. There you go, Don.
Thank you.
Because we've had the Golden Bachelor, now we're getting the Golden Bachelorette.
I hate it on every level.
Are they going to, is like the big dinner challenge going to be at Luby's, or
is Luby still a thing, or is even that joke too old?
I respect the attempt at the joke because of the cafeterias. Like Luby's probably the last one. There might still be that one up on Midway. Still be able. One of Mesquite's gone. I know that.
I still maintain my response was better.
He could have said Morrison's. He could have said Woolworth's, but no. He stuck the landing with at least the attempt, and I give him what is going on this week? I can't seem to get the wheels on. Don's on fire. I don't know what's going on.
I'm going on vacation.
He's been prepping his tight 20 all week.
And Katy Perry announces she will be leaving American Idol after this season, which is season 22 for them. Allegedly, she's got a new album coming out.
I keep forgetting that show exists.
Oh, it changed networks a while back, so I could,
I didn't care about it when it started.
That's awesome. I watched it for the first few years.
Well, and like was it 911 went from Fox now to ABC, and that's starting next month.
I will say, Alex introduced me to The Floor last weekend. Very intriguing, that one.
Could you clarify that you're not saying that I hit you or tackled you or anything? Just to clarify.
It's a game show with Rob Lowe.
Yeah.
It's like a, I don't even know how to describe
it. The best way I've been able to describe it to somebody when it came up in conversation is it's like 2-minute battles over and over again. So it's almost like its own mini clip show of competition.
Russ says he digs it. We did find out today that CW will, and remember, it's not the CW anymore. It's just CW. They are rebooting.
Watch The Social Network.
They are rebooting Scrabble, the game show.
Did not know it was a game show.
In the 80s and 90s, Chuck Woolery hosted it. It was
I remember that. They filmed the tides or whatever. It wasn't like the Scrabble on the board, but if I remember that right.
But no, there was a Scrabble board involved.
Yeah.
But but no, and they're actually going to be doing with Wayne Brady a game show version of Trivial Pursuit. So we got
that's
that coming. And Apple TV has renewed Invasion for season 3. So if you're a fan of that show, you got that. Disney Plus has renewed Goosebumps for season 2. I didn't know that. I guess they were. I liked when they did the movies. It was just easier. X-Men 97 will finally get here on March 20th. A friend of the show, Cal Dodd, put a big post up about it this morning. Very excited for him. And if you haven't had enough Taylor Swift in your life, be aware that Disney Plus is going to be your streaming home for the Eras tour because they paid more than $75 million for it. And you're getting an extra 5 songs that weren't even released in theaters. Alex.
Okay, I didn't want to move on that far before we got to. Did we get confirmation if Cal is doing the voice for X-Men 97?
I mean, he announced it, so I'm assuming.
But remember, we know that he is a good dude who might just be plugging a tangential property to his career. I hope it's still him, but I have the question.
Cal Dodd right there.
Nice.
They've only got 2 episodes listed on the MDib. Lenore Zahn returning as Rogue.
Nice.
Let's see. Nobody else that I really... Oh, Catherine Disher is doing some work as Jean Grey.
Nice.
But we've got 2 listings, so there's probably going to be some flashback episodes. But the trailer hit today.
But
so
the 2 that always come to mind for me, and this could be an interesting other discussion for it, nobody can be Optimus Prime but Peter Cullen. Nobody can be Logan other than Cal Dodd. Just saying.
And an absolute wonderful human. Very much enjoyed sitting down with him at at Giganticon last year. So make sure you're following on my social media, man. We got some shows coming up, all kinds of announcements being put out there. One of which coming up at Dallas Comic Show in April, Yancey Butler will be in town. She was the TV version of Sarah Pizzini for Witchblade on TNT.
No, I was actually reacting to Russ, who said there was already a Trivial Pursuit show hosted by Wink Martindale.
Yeah, I did not know that. I have to look that up.
Huh. Thank you.
Let's see. FX season 3 of The Bear coming in June.
Love that show. That might be my favorite show of the last few years.
Don,
at least
did you
one
get a calendar.
What was the
Did
one
you
on
get-
the? No, you're saying the bear. What was the premise of that one? Was that like the?
That's the
the guy that owns-
restaurant, essentially. Well, there's
That's
a
the what?
lot more to it than just the restaurant, but it is go in cold. Don, you've worked in the service industry before,
Yeah.
correct? I remember that correctly.
Yeah.
When I tell you, within the first episode, I had tears of joy, feeling like somebody had finally seen parts of my life
And
from
it's
the
the guy
service
that
industry. I'm not exaggerating.
And it's the guy that played
It's called
Kerry
the
Von
bear.
Erich.
Yes, it's Jeremy Allen White is the
Yeah, the guy that played Kerry
titular-
Von Erich in Iron
Mhm.
Claw.
Okay. The bear.
Yep.
which, interestingly enough, the only thing I talked to him about was the bear at the screening party.
I'm sure you weren't the only
In
one.
hindsight, it feels stupid.
And Don, I need you to circle a date on your calendar.
What's that?
April 18th.
What's that?
The season 3 premiere. A little something that's sitting right about here.
No way.
Yep, they're starting in April this year, so they're pretty
Really?
much like once the season's over, here we go. So isn't that the end of the season, or does it go into May, June?
Usually,
I
it's
believe
like
it
May
goes
and
later.
stuff like that, but they could still be showing.
Well, they may be
editing.
starting early, so in case they don't ruin the end
To
of the
avoid
season.
spoilers in real life.
But no, they
Again?
said April 18th for season 3. I want to go to there.
Yeah.
That is also approaching the weekend for Dallas Comic Show. And for those of you in the Austin area, I will be at Hill Country Comic Con the first weekend in April. Very excited for that, which means I'll be on the road for Mania.
I'm just curious if I'll actually make that show. For
Oh, Wrexham.
Oh.
I was
I
like,
they
hope
did
you do.
interview us.
I was
I
like, Don,
genuinely hope you are in it, Don.
Yeah, they
and,
literally.
it's, and if you are, you have to take a screenshot, and for the next year, it has to be your profile picture on all social media.
Well,
I want to
it'll
take
be
one
one
step
of the two
above
on
from that.
Facebook. I'm always going to have faith.
No,
Right, but
that's
she's
fair.
right next to you.
True.
Is she
That-
not?
yeah, we can do that.
Allow
true.
me to jump in on this, Don.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you appear on the show by yourself, you will have to change one of them. If you and Faith both appear on the show, that will be for both of them. However, you will also need to change your handle to Don Ford from Welcome to Wrexham. Make it the longest handle ever.
Welcome to Wrexham's Don Ford. That might be too many characters.
Welcome to Don Ford Wrexham.
All-star
We'll
Don.
figure it out. We're going to workshop it. If anybody has any suggestions that are watching this, please feel free to jump in.
Totally.
Hulu
And for the
has-
new people that are joining us for the first time in August, when we went to the UK, we had the joy and pleasure of having their being at their season home opener that year. So it was an incredible thing, incredible
Don,
experience.
blink twice if you're an imposter, because you are absolutely crushing everything right now. Because I feel like the real Don Ford's being held hostage somewhere.
I can put that back to normal. Big Bunu.
But you're the
Now I'm
only
back to
one, Thomas,
normal.
because we don't.
Now it says Don.
It has for quite a while, Don. Now we're back.
Hulu announcing that season 4 of Only Murders in the Building will actually take place in Los Angeles, and Molly Shannon joining the cast.
Interesting.
Got that going for you, which is nice. And they have said that Hulu has said the final season of The Handmaid's Tale will not happen until next year. So if you're waiting on that, you're going to have to wait till 2025 on that. Netflix has renewed Survival of the Thickest for season 2. This is a series about a young lady who's single and she's thick and she's trying to be the right guy.
I'm all for that. I just hadn't heard about it before.
Season 4 of the Umbrella Academy will debut August the 8th.
Oh, too late. Too late.
And if you guys remember, there was a show on Peacock that was about a girl band that was called Girls Five Eva. It has moved to Netflix. Season 3 will arrive March 14th. Speaking of Netflix, because we didn't screen it, I didn't write a review, but I did watch this week the documentary The Greatest Night in Pop, which is the story of We Are the World that debuted on Netflix a couple of weeks ago. It's okay. It did not meet my expectations. Most of it is
crossover question when you finish with this, though.
Okay. Most of it's told by Lionel Richie, which I get because he was there on the ground floor all the way through. Loved hearing Huey Lewis be interviewed for it. It's interesting because they shot everything because they shot the video. They did everything in one night. It was after the American Music Awards, which is why they did it that night because they knew everybody was going to be in town. Springsteen's interviewed. It's actually pretty good. They could have gone into more detail on stuff. That's all. Alex, go ahead.
Before we move off of that, do you think it was too buttoned up, too clean compared to what you would want to see, or no? What would you have done to make it better?
I would have liked to have more people interviewed. Sheila E's in it, and she has kind of an HSO that I was kind of like, really? But I would have liked to have heard from Dan Aykroyd. Because you look at the people in that room and you go, Dan Aykroyd? He's like standing right behind Bono, and you're just like, wait a minute. No, was Bono there? No, he was at Band-Aid. He was standing right. He's like right next to Daryl Hall, I think. Like, it's a very strange the way they talk about
somebody
how they arranged
distinctly an award-winning musician.
Dan Aykroyd was in USA for Africa. I had no idea for that.
Yep, he's in the back row. And they recorded everybody at the beginning, and they kept the soloists after, which I thought was interesting. And they must have really produced it because they talk about how Quincy didn't want harmonies or anything, but there's multiple parts when you listen to the song at the end going on. So it's a very interesting documentary. I'll say that. Paramount Plus has said the final season. Go ahead, Alex.
Yeah. I've been noticing something with Netflix, and I don't know if either of you talked about it or have seen anything on it. So obviously the crossover part with the Cheap Popcasts, we know that Raw will be moving to Netflix, but Universal by proxy with USA is keeping SmackDown.
Correct.
Do you think there's some kind of an agreement? Because there is a lot of Universal properties that have started popping up on Netflix. And I've noticed this over the last week or so. It seems like a larger number than would be coincidental, if that makes sense.
I think it's very possible because I know all the Pitch Perfect movies are over there now.
Yeah, it's been movies, it's been TV, it's been specials, it's been documentaries that were all done on Universal that have started popping up on Netflix. So I'm very intrigued to see if there's going to be something coming out in the next maybe 2 to 3 months about some kind of a working relationship that will appease both sides as far as content.
It's very possible.
Or if Peacock is going to wind up rolling into Netflix or something like it.
And I'm glad you said that because we did have an NBC Peacock headline that I missed that's on the run sheet. We have the Suits spinoff. Suits LA will be happening. Your lead in that will be one Stephen Amell, whose reaction
I was shocked when I saw that, but I'm happy.
Just Alex, going back to Netflix real fast. I finally did get through watching the whole season of the Wrestlers, about OVW and stuff. And
it's gritty, isn't it?
Yeah, very good. Really enjoyed that one. That was a good recommendation, big time.
Yeah. Now, before we get too far away, Rob, you were in the middle of saying about Stephen Amell and the Suit spinoff.
And his reaction was he knows a thing or two about universe building. world building. So it's
Yeah.
going to be fine there. Prime Video has announced season 2 of American Rust will air there instead of Freevee starting March 28th. So hopefully they'll get some more eyes on that show. I'm going to go back to that. USA has announced that part 2 of season 3 of Chucky will start April the 10th. I didn't realize they'd split that up, but I guess with the strike, they probably had some of it already in the can and had to finish it up.
I honestly thought we were more seasons than that in.
And in rough news for Alex and I this week, one of our favorite shows is going away. True TV announcing that after 4 seasons, Tacoma FD has been canceled. However, there was an announcement in that statement that we're going to talk about here in a little while. Alex, did you finish season 4 yet?
Yeah, I did. I was actually going to reference the end of it.
We have to do something to wrap that up. That's all I'm saying.
Well, yeah, you can't. The idiot. I absolutely love every person on that show, but there's just something about the idiot character done well so that it's not annoying, but it's endearing, that is so hard to do. And I'm drawing a blank on his name, and it's bothering me, but like just such a sweetheart of a character with the dumbest questions. Do we say the spoiler of how it ends and see if Dawn catches it, or?
Well, I'm talking about the very, very last thing they say.
About why their blood was no good?
Correct. I believe you're talking
that's
about...
what I'm referring to.
Are you talking about the character of Ike?
Yes. When I was trying to remember the actor's name.
Gabriel Hogan.
But he has the last line of the season, and it's like, are you really?
And shout out Dexter Loomis.
Absolutely. Dexter Loomis's older brother.
I will say that all of your DVD releases for next week, I actually said on last week's show. So
okay.
I got that going for me. Let's talk real quick music stuff, because this year's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominees has been released. So, gentlemen, as we do every year, we're going to go through the list real quick. You ready?
Yeah.
And just in, not in, and just move on, right?
And these are in first letter alphabetical order.
No, I mean for us. Do we reply in, not in, and move along, or just let you go?
If you want to give a little bit of commentary, that's great, but it's only an hour and a half show. We haven't gotten to wrestling yet.
That's why I was established.
We start with The Cher.
In.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan, but you can't deny it.
We have the Dave Matthews Band.
Big in for me.
In.
All right. Eric B. and Rakim. I'm saying in because don't sweat the technique, and Juice, I didn't know the ledge. That's all you need to know. And Eric B. is president.
Out.
That one took Don a minute.
In
a shocking, why aren't they in yet? Foreigner's
not in?
So far, that's my number one in so far.
That's definitely an in. That's definitely an in for me.
And another one that there's another band that's in before this band, which is a little bit concerning to me personally. Green Day is in, but Jane's Addiction's not?
That's a discography thing, because I don't believe Jane's Addiction has as many releases as Green Day, and people love Green Day. I don't see the appeal on all of it, but whatever. But Jane's Addiction's awesome. I love Jane's Addiction.
Don?
I'd say no.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Cool in the Gang.
In.
Are we? Okay, it's a good thing we're not voters, because I feel like we're putting in way too many people, but that's an in for me.
Yep.
That's why I'd say in over Jane's Addiction.
No, I get that. If we had to limit it to numbers, I could understand chopping some of these, but for me, they're in. I mean, I don't know that there's one that I've said no yet.
Next up, the Lenny Kravitz. Absolutely in.
You've heard my story about the first time I heard Lenny Kravitz. So that's an in for me.
Yeah. He's still too kind of new for. I would put him. I put Sharon over
My
him.
first album was almost 30 years ago.
Don?
Still, I Sharon deserves to go in, and Foreigner deserve to go in over him. In my opinion.
Okay, I will understand that, but calling him new, Don, I'm going to give you a level of the story that I told Rob. The very first time I ever heard something from Lenny Kravitz, I was 15 in a bar in Rome and couldn't find my pants. Lenny Kravitz gets a pass for me forever.
So there's that. Mariah Carey.
This one is, for me, is the Dolly Parton argument of it's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but I don't take issue with it. So that's an in.
Christmas Hall of Fame, absolute first ballot.
As much as you hate it, it's got to be.
I would put her in.
I would do Lenny Kravitz over Mariah Carey. I just want to know the list.
Can I get that phrase on a t-shirt?
Yeah.
We're getting Mary J. Blige. I've seen her live twice, and I was not.
I'm going to say no.
No.
In another, you think Foreigner was shocking that they're not in. On the list again this year, Peter Frampton. How is that not a thing?
He made somebody
One
mad
of the
at
greatest
some point.
guitar players walking the earth today.
Again, that's where I would put Peter Frampton over Lenny Kravitz.
Peter Frampton, arguably one of the best live performances ever recorded.
And does not like the Big Mountain cover of Baby I Love Your Way. Did not sign off on it. Does not like it. Do not ask him about it.
That's new information to me.
I saw an interview with him and somebody said something and that felt like a fart in church. Apparently kind of a sore subject with him. So
that's surprising.
Be advised. Oasis. No, thank you.
I like him, but too early. I would rather have. If I could do a list and rank them and stuff, I would put them more towards the bottom. I do over Jane's Addiction, but not over Lenny Kravitz. But
See, the hard part is
right below Mariah
they've been
Carey.
around for most of my life, so I have a hard time rolling with you on the new aspect. I like Oasis, but as with any Hall of Fame that we have that talk about is how long was their prime? How long was quality coming from them? I feel like their window might be a little bit too narrow to be in, but I like Oasis, so I would put them in.
My favorite version of Wonderwall was sung in yesterday. That's all I'm saying. Ozzy by himself. Sabbath is in. He is not in as a solo artist. I say Ric Flair and put him in.
Over out of that list so far, he would be my top one. Foreigner would be number 2. Then I'd put number 3 would be Cher.
Yeah, I feel like Ozzy would be my number 1 to go in.
Sade.
I think I missed part of that. Say that again, Rob.
Sade.
Oh. That's a no from me.
No.
I like her. Sweetest Taboo is a banger.
Yeah.
But I mean, how many really hits? How many mainstream hits did she have besides Sweetest Taboo?
That wasn't even the biggest hit off that album, Don.
What else was there?
Diamond Life. You know that Smooth Operator, Don?
Smooth Operator.
Smooth Operator, yeah.
The Sweetest Taboo. Okay, yeah, she had one album.
Okay,
yeah, she had a couple.
Smooth Operator is the only song by her I can name.
Well, you had Sweetest Taboo. You also had the
don't know that one.
No Ordinary Love.
Oh, okay. Now there's 2.
She did a tour with Seal. That would have been a great show if I'd been able to see it.
Ooh, I like Seal a lot.
Sinead O'Connor on the list this year.
Is that a posthumous bump?
Probably.
I mean, she qualifies from a time standpoint.
Yeah. I'd say no.
Unfortunately, the thing about that is from an American standpoint, I can understand the hesitance, but globally, she had a lot more success than she had here.
I also think I'm too young for this kind of a judgment aspect because the only thing in my lifetime I can remember is a picture being torn, and that's the list.
Did I ever tell you about there was what Blues Traveler was going to do, and they wouldn't let him? Because they thought that was such a a weird thing. When they played SNL a few years later, they wanted to hold up a picture of like an eel and say, "Fight the real anemone," and then rip that up, and Lorne Michaels wouldn't let him do it.
We did talk about that, yeah.
And finally, A Tribe Called Quest.
Yes. Auto, yes.
Yeah.
Q-Tip, $5 and everybody.
Ozzy's still number one.
Yeah, 400 for me, number 2. Cher's number 3.
You know, I can't fault Don's list.
Let's get into a little bit of movie talk real quick so we can get enough time to get the wrestling stuff in. Yesterday, in a very surprise move, Marvel announces the cast for Fantastic Four that will release in July of next year. Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby. What?
Did you not see the backlash on this one? That they put it up, somebody put it up, and then they were made to take it down? Because apparently they weren't supposed to reveal it yet.
Well, it was everywhere, and it's out there now.
Yeah.
So you take it, it won't matter. It's already out there. Vanessa Kirby from The Crown, Ebon Moss-Bachrach from The Bear, and Joseph Quinn from Stranger Things. That's your cast. And Herbie was in the picture, and that brought me joy.
Okay. I only have one teeny tiny, because I love Joseph Quinn, but I need to see him in something where I can see Johnny Storm. Because I don't see it from Stranger Things. I don't see it from other things I've seen him in. And that's just such a typically bombastic character. And he's been more muted even while going off the rails. I'm going to give him the ability to, because the rest of the 4 is stacked. But I need to see, I want to see something that makes me go, okay, yeah, definitely.
And the bar's really low for this. So
I would disagree on that.
And it looks like it's going to take place in the 60s.
It did look like that, yeah.
I want one thing, but it'll screw up continuity. Oh, no, there's no way they could do it.
I'm sorry, sir. Allow me to also say, if you watch the trailer to Deadpool and Wolverine, continuity may not exist in a few months.
So they're all sitting around watching TV. And there's in Fantastic Four, yes.
Okay. But I'm saying it's the core 4 that you're talking about, not just some random.
And there's a newsreel talking about World War II, and they show Cap, and they all kind of go, and then they just move on.
Or even better. Wait, may I do this one for you?
Okay.
So obviously Joseph Quinn is distinctly younger than the rest of the cast. So let him be almost high school to college age, and he's having to study World War II and just looking at a picture and looking at a mirror and looking at a picture, then looking back at the mirror and goes, "It's a good looking guy," and just moves on with nothing else.
I want some kind of a reference.
Oh,
that's all I want. And whoever's playing Johnny Storm, hey, you can get recast back in the Marvel universe later, because it's happened twice now. Because remember who your second Johnny Storm was.
That is true, because he became Killmonger.
He did indeed.
So now we're going to be fantasy casting Joseph Quinn into other roles.
You remember?
He's going to be Puck.
You remember a few minutes ago when I said Tacoma FD was getting canceled, but we also found something else out in the same statement? We are getting Super Troopers 3, Don. Get your leader of cola ready.
Zakar Ramrod.
That's not a
leader of cola,
Don.
This is leader. Well, it's close to leader.
Not a leader of cola radio. Come on.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Brian, yes, we were talking about the casting of Fantastic Four with Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic.
Oh, Brian's in the room. He and I haven't had a chance to talk in a
Hey, Brian's been here for a while, and I appreciate him for that.
That's my dude. That's my brother. I miss him very, very much.
Hopefully it's better than the second edition. It would have to be, sir.
It better be better than all 3 of those terrible films. Get me started on what they did to the Silver Surfer.
That is the thing that angers me more than any of them.
All right, so let's change gears a little bit. One moment, please, while I do that.
Okay.
Club Dread was better than Super.
No,
Leave my dude.
no.
All right.
Just no.
What's it do? It's not doing the thing.
Yeah.
Okay, it did the thing that time. I got a little click happy on that. Let's change gears, get into the Cheat Popcast part of our show where we talk about all things professional wrestling in our sport. This week, TNA Impact Trent Seven returned.
Mm-hmm.
I always like him. And Simon Gotch showed up to attack Josh Alexander. So makes me wonder, do we get the Vaudevillains back together, or are they going to work a program with each other?
Well, we did get that teased right off the bat where we had one announcer turn to another announcer and go, "Did you know about this?" Which we've already laid the groundwork for the Vaudevillains.
Well, and he kind of was very adamant about So it makes me wonder if that's that much more.
Like overselling the "I didn't know," perhaps.
So for those of you that don't know, I have YouTube TV as my television provider, and because of that, I can't watch TNA because they don't have access to TV. So I had to buy a TNA Plus membership to watch TNA Impact. It's interesting the way they handle picture in picture, because watching it, which I'll watch tomorrow because it won't hit there till tonight. When they say you won't miss a moment in our picture in picture break, they keep going if you watch it on TNA Plus. So although you're getting audio from commercials on Access TV, you're getting the full blown commentary on that. So
that's cool.
Let's see. Brian's asking about bringing The Rock back with Fast X. They're not going to have much crossover coming forward. Like your Fast X and a half is going to be a Rock thing, and then they're going to go. But no, they're actually, I believe they're calling it Fast X.5. It's not going to be Fast 11. Fast 11 will be back to the main storyline. That's what I'm reading. So that was kind of cool. I'm going to point something out there to the universe with the family argument.
Oh, no. This has been groundwork laid all over the place. This is them trying to shovel other things off of news cycles because The Rock is arguably the most recognizable person on the planet right now. They're just trying to capitalize on that now that he is on the board.
I'm going to put this out there to the universe. I don't care who does it. I don't care what promotion does it. I need a spot where one person hits another with a replica belt bought by a fan. Bonus points if it's a kid's belt. I'm just saying.
It's been done.
I haven't seen it in a very, very long time, and it's time to bring it back.
Okay.
By the way, Rebellion will be April 20th in Vegas at the Palms. They were going to try to go to Hammerstein, but they decided to go back to Vegas instead.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Palms is scrambling. They want to put as much into that venue as possible to the point where they're cutting deals with anyone.
We're available.
I know a few people.
That's good. Did you see your LA Knight HSO the other day?
I thought that was earlier today. It might have been yesterday, but yes, I did see it. Don, did you see it?
We are on the road to WrestleMania. LA Knight has put it out there to the universe for his WrestleMania entrance. He wants Usher to do his arguably biggest single of all time. You know what that song is, Don?
Yeah.
Don's all over it today.
I read that and I just stood up in my office and just clapped. I said, "You, sir, are a genius, and I'm here for it."
Well, when's the next time WrestleMania is in Vegas?
Oh, it's not that bad for him to fly out to Philly for a day.
But what I'm saying is, there is a Vegas Mania coming up, I believe. So,
or maybe
by that time, LA Knight, is in the main event by then.
I want this so badly. I read this and I'm like, okay, first of all, why is this the first time this is ever coming up? Secondly,
True.
I didn't know how much I wanted this until just that point.
And
Johnny
you know who else would be really happy about that? LA Knight fan number 1, L.A. Leonard Anderson.
And, apparently Johnny Gargano, not a marketing guy for a reason, we found out on Twitter yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to put that on the screen because it's a family show, but you can look up his thought process of DIY doing a collab with D-Generation X and how badly that would have gone. Just
Sir,
his caption.
You might be able to get that shirt off of that on shop. I'm looking it up.
And just his caption of, I don't think they'd let us do that. I love Johnny Gargano. SmackDown, we find out that the men's chamber qualifier will face Seth Rollins at Mania, and McIntyre did qualify. Here's my question, gentlemen. In story, do we trust Dakota Kai?
No.
Now aligning herself with Bayley against the rest of Damage Control.
No, when have we ever been able to trust her?
Well, we'll put it this way. I trust her more than I trust her knee holding up.
True.
Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate will vie for the tag titles next weekend at Elimination Chamber. By the way, double taping of SmackDown tomorrow night. They will not be live next Friday in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. Also, we're not going to talk about the NXT spoilers because I've had 2 things spoiled because they've double taped this week.
Oh, okay.
I've read about 2 things, one of which, okay, the other one I wish I didn't know. And it was one of those suggested Facebook pages that I'm not even following, and it was a huge spoiler. And I was like, are you kidding me?
We have another one of those for Rampage as well.
Yeah, which I'm not going to talk about because that hasn't happened yet. Randy also qualifies for the chamber on SmackDown this past week. I just saw Xena liked the video. Hey, my friend, how are you? Let's see. I think so. Those chamber graphics are some of the best they've done in a long time.
I feel like all the graphics are coming up. Now that other people are making decisions, it's really starting to advance.
I haven't watched that cinematic teaser for Mania yet. I've just been trying to get through stuff because tomorrow I got to watch Ring of Honor and Impact. Although there is no Collision this week, so maybe I'll save one of them. Because Collision,
I thought there was a Collision, but it's coming on early.
No, they are not airing Collision this weekend because of the NBA All-Star game. They said last night they will be back next Saturday.
Okay, then I missed it. I knew they were talking about an earlier time for something. I thought it was this week.
Yeah, they had a specific commercial for it on Dynamite last night.
Gotcha.
Only thing from NXT, hashtag and new tag champs? ?
That was a good match.
It was a good match, but it really kind of makes me question everything that's going on right now.
Well, I have a suspicion on this.
Okay.
Who pushed the hardest early on to make NXT the third brand?
It would be Sean, wouldn't
it? Sean wasn't involved at that point. It was H.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ache.
Who is your decision maker right now?
So I want to see how that whole thing.
So I'm curious to see if our next draft, sorry, Charla, our next draft is actually going to wind up pulling some more quote unquote main roster talents to NXT talents going to other shows, and possibly trying to get that as a genuine, because NXT has started touring and they are starting to expand outside of Florida, which is why their pleas have been in other locations. I think we're about to get either an influx of talent or a shuffling to get more talent on NXT, and they're going to start touring the same as the other 2 shows.
I was a little shocked by that. And now Baron Corbin does owe a Wolf Dogs to us.
I thought he did yell it at the end of the show.
I didn't hear it. It was not on mic.
I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it either. I hope that's a thing where he's just like, you got to do it. You got to do it. I may have heard it, but they didn't hear it.
And Boy, Braun Breaker showing personality.
You know what?
Very
Nobody
impressed.
has developed better than him in the last 12 months. And I was
I would
worried
say
about
that.
him. But
AEW news QT
did you see the rumor on him
I've seen a few. Go ahead.
about what the deciding factor of which show he signs with will be in story?
Mm-mm.
The way they're going to tell the story is he signs with whichever one of them gets rid of the Breaker name, and he goes by Braun Steiner.
Interesting.
I'm here for that because it gets me what I want.
We've been talking about it for years. QT Marshall back with AEW as a VP, but with no plans to be on television.
Hey, dude's got a great mind for the business. Totally understand.
As long as I don't get the return of QTV, I'll be fine. Let's see here.
Well, apparently this is the response to a lot of people being angry about how directions have gone without Cody, which made last night very interesting.
Yeah, somebody cut a promo about it.
Somebody cut his best promo.
We had a Barrett Brown signing on Dynamite last night.
We kind of did. Poor guy.
He was there. Nate was on the screen.
He does what he does best, and he makes people look good while being entertaining regardless of what they give him. Shout out to the 50 cal.
This is your Adam Page lower third update. There was no lower third for Adam Page this week.
I don't think it's going to be a thing anymore.
He had one last week.
Time. Right, but we had the double turn, and I think while he's getting booed, there will be no lower third. But I would love for it to be like a quick heel line. It's like Adam Page doesn't care about your boos.
With this Young Bucks thing, you have an interesting opportunity with somebody that has not been on TV in a minute and a half. And most of the time they've been on TV has been in Ring of Honor.
Okay, there's two different people.
I feel like we are primed for either a face turn or a deeper heel turn for Smart Mark Sterling.
Oh, okay. I see where you're going with this. That's that's interesting. Let him be their attorney.
Yeah, good either way.
Yeah.
But I could also see him going face and going, look, you can't do this to your people.
I don't think you can have Smart Mark Sterling do that. If you're going to do something like that, I feel like you have to bring when Kenny comes back with that. Something in that ilk. I don't think Sterling's going to be enough because if he tries to say it, they hit him with the trigger and leave him laying. End of story.
Did you read anything about last week's Ring of Honor, Alex?
I've read a few things. What do you mean?
Johnny TV was going to be wrestling a friend of Dalton Castle.
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning of the show, he was using the laundry room as his locker room.
Mm-hmm.
And when he stuck his head out, he was wearing a captain's hat.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, they're going to do the thing. That was not who he was.
Nope.
He was Hombre de Pavo Real Montana, which translates to Peacock Man Montana.
I would like to personally thank Dalton Castle for watching the show. Because we know where that name comes from. Hold on, other side. Oh, got to come back in.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't even know we're talking about him at this point. But that's all Don. I'm sorry, what?
We're talking to you. We're talking to you.
I know,
dude.
boys. Dalton Castle, my hero.
But did you not hear the name he went by on Ring of Honor?
Oh, I didn't see Ring of Honor. No.
No, Rob just said it. That's what I'm getting at. Okay, Don, I want you to pay attention. Rob, go for it.
He was Hombre de Pavo Real Montana, which translates to Peacock Man Montana, Don.
I gotta
we
take
were
him
giving
up
you
there.
credit.
You really have to pay attention to the show, dude. I would really appreciate that if you just pay attention to the show that you're on. I know you're getting ready to go on vacation, and you had such a strong start to the show. You got to land the bird now, bro.
This
Okay.
was a bad time to miss.
And Athena returned. I kind of like what they're doing with her.
Yes.
I appreciate
that felt a little wonky to me, though.
I appreciate MPX getting a shout out a couple weeks ago in the vignette. That was kind of nice. But I got a feeling they're going to drag this out to Super Card of Honor, which they have not announced yet. They said it's coming out. They just haven't said the details. It'll probably be at 2,300, I would think.
I'm hoping they bring it back here, so for the first time I can actually go.
Yeah, but don't they always do it in the same city that Mania's in?
No, because they did it here last year too.
Super Card of Honor.
They've done
was
the
here?
last 2 years here, I believe.
I thought that was Final Battle was here last year.
I might be misinterpreting or
Final Battle
misremembering,
was
but-
Garland.
No.
Card
I'm
of
talking
Honor-
about in Garland. I thought they did Super Card of Honor in Garland the last 2 years. We'll have to fact check that one. And
Super Card of Honor 2023. Where was it? It was at the Galen Center,
Galen Center. I don't know where that
which
is.
it's in Southern California. So it
Okay,
was
well
in
then
LA.
it is in the Mania area.
So let's see. That's really all I've got this week, unless you guys got anything you want to talk about.
I have a question.
Sure.
We're getting the NXT promos. You and I talked about it briefly. If you had to say who you think it is, who is it that has the evil side promo or the vignette?
I mean, all indications point to Okada. You and I talked about this yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I just find it hard to believe he's going to go to NXT. I think they're going to AJ Styles him and bring him straight up, but that's just me. And maybe it is a vignette for the main roster.
See, to me, it goes along with the idea of the trying to make NXT the third brand, and because he has only, for the most part, worked for New Japan outside of his time. I don't even want to talk about it with Impact. But all signs point to, yes, he is going to AEW allegedly, but I could see the bankroll getting opened up for him to switch sides because that's a lot of money. And he's your cornerstone to NXT becoming a legit third brand. And like I told you before, arguably one of his closest friends on the planet is Shinsuke Nakamura, who did the exact same thing from his level of fame. I think Rob.
We had the Alex remix. No, we had the Alex remix there for a minute. But what you were saying was Okada would take the same route that Shinsuke took coming through NXT because they're best friends.
Because they're good friends, yes.
Right. So, but who would you feud him with on NXT?
That's why I'm saying it would be part of somebody going back. I would love to see Okada Dragunov. Give me Okada Dijak.
I mean,
give me Okada Carmelo Hayes.
And are they just going to heel turn him right out of the gate? Because that's what the vignette made it look
Okada?
like. Yeah,
it feels like it. Yeah. Well, I wonder if there's also a, no pun intended, swerve to it, and we're off base just because the old phrase is man's face, and it's actually Julia. I could see it being that too.
Very possible. But I think hasn't she pushed her thing back because she's hoping somebody else
helping
launch their promotion?
Rossi Ogawa start his new promotion, but that's only supposed to be 2 to 3 months.
Okay.
And that started last month.
Anything else, gentlemen?
My question is, there's been all this talk going on. We saw what happened on the press thing and all that. Supposedly there's something big tomorrow night. Is it still going to be Cody versus Roman at Mania?
Mm-hmm. I don't think that changes. Now,
what's The Rock going to be doing?
I have some fantasy booking for that if you would like it.
We got 11 minutes.
I'll try to be as quick as possible. So there is the rumored night 1 main event of Rock and Roman versus Seth and Cody. I think that still happens. I think Rock winds up eating the pin by whatever reason, whether Roman ditches him on a lighter scale or something. You cut to night 2. Solo is about to go out to save Roman from Cody hulking up or whatever it is. Rock stops him and says, you're the tribal chief. You have to do this on your own. And that's how you wind up getting the turn of Rock versus Roman at a later date. And maybe we get a full year build like we did with Rock Cena. But that's how you set up that story going along from here to getting to the non-belt on the line, whether it be at SummerSlam, whether it be at Survivor Series like I pitched. Now, for me, if you want to tell the story going along, I still say you wind up with a tribal combat war games at Survivor Series. That's the next thing you build to, where on one side you have Rock, Jay, Jacob Fatu. On the other side, you have Roman, Solo, and Jimmy, and then fill out with 2 others on either team. And then that's your teaser going into, like, Rock's team wins. We'll say that, okay? Rock's team wins. Roman goes away for a couple of months because he usually takes a vacation around the holidays anyways. And then comes back with a fury, maybe even with the old leaky face paint, but now intense. Give him the half Umaga or something. And he's just on a warpath as a tribal chief would, wanting to settle the score with Rock one-on-one at next year's Mania.
Kind of here for it. It's a lot of booking.
It is a lot of booking, but H is willing to do long-term booking as others have not. Plus, you're probably going to need a year to go from Rocky sucks to him being the hero, or vice versa.
Well, he's got at least one movie he's got to go do too.
That's also fair.
He's got to do Fast X.5. So
I really hope it's not.
I think this is when he drops the belt at Mania. That's going to be my prediction.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I've read the plan is for him to not drop the belt until next year.
My problem is I have read both, or let me rephrase. I have read more recently the idea is that he doesn't drop the belt until next year. But I also feel like we now have creative heads that use, I don't want to call them the dirt sheets. That's the wrong terminology in my opinion, but using the wrestling outlets to build fake stories or even to try and keep people on their toes, because H isn't against it.
I'm not saying I'm not okay being wrong, because I'm totally okay being wrong.
I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm saying right now, I feel like you trust those outlets less than we ever have before.
That's a fair point. I mean,
and it's
I
not
would love to be.
Sorry, what was that?
I said I would love to be completely off base. I would absolutely love it. There's nothing I trust at all anymore right now. There just isn't.
But what I'm saying is I feel like they have become a tool, whereas they're not misreporting. They're just reporting on what they're told, but they're being fed information by people who are in the know and saying, no. Have Meltzer say this. It'll pivot. It'll play great. That kind of thing.
Okay. Anything else?
I think we're clear.
All right. Make sure you check out our website, www.theclubhousepodcast.com. That's the wrong one. Find out everything you need to know and stuff you don't. I'm still rusty on this. You can follow me on all your social medias if you'd like. Everything is Yes That Rob Urban. That is spelled ERVIN. Our social medias, TikTok and Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, our Clubhouse show. Everything else is The Clubhouse Podcast. All 3 words in that order, or you wind up somewhere else.
I am Vexploit on all social media. If you'd like to help out with the show, please go to ProWrestlingTees.com and search for the Cheap Popcast. It is right there. You're going to see that logo with a bunch of different shirt options and color options within there. If you happen to be an artist or have some suggestions for the show, you can reach out to me at alex@theclubhousepodcast.com.
Yeah, URL to get those awesome shirts that even make me look good is ProWrestlingTees.com/the Cheap Podcast. And at Twitter, I'm at Boo. IGBN If you want this managed at your place, email me .clubhousepodcast.com.
Getting close to film festival season. You never know where you might see us, so keep your eye on our social media for that. Email Don if you'd like to come to your particular establishment. maybe you're the Palms in Vegas and you want to have us out. It'd be pretty awesome. You can email me questions, comments, concerns. Somebody go pound sand. I am Rob at theclubhousepodcast.com. Charlotte Marshall's on Pinterest because we are morally obligated to say that. Our normal show every Thursday night, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. I'm still getting used to that too. Is your one-stop shop for all things sports, entertainment, pop culture, pro wrestling. We cover it all. So until next week, when it'll be at least Alex and I, and maybe a guest, you don't know. We don't know either. For the boys, for the Empire, I'm Rob. Clubhouse is closed. Brittany Palmer has been having some shoulder surgery, so I hope she recovers well.